Hello and welcome to this screencast on applying an animated highlighter effect to your Camtasia screencast on a Mac. Today, I'd like to show you how you can add visual interest to your screencast and draw your learner's attention to something on the screen by using annotations combined with animations. For example, suppose you would like to add an animation to a highlight annotation to make it appear as though you are drawing attention to a URL in your browser, or drawing attention to an important text in a website or document, or even an important area on the screen that you want to draw the viewer's eyes to. To begin, record your screencast and save it. Then add the music at the beginning of your screencast on a different track like this. And then make sure you move the recorded material that you've already recorded to the right of that music on the timeline. Next, do the edits you wish to do to the screencast. It is very important that you perform the edits first before adding the highlighted animated annotation. The highlighted animated annotations are one of the last things you want to add to your screencast because they need to be placed at specific positions on your timeline, and if you edit after you have inserted them, it will affect the positions that you designated. Okay, to get started with your annotation, I like to do a smart focus at time zoom effect first. This allows me to focus the viewer's attention closer in on a particular part of the screen. In this example, I'm going to use Smart Focus at Time to pan and zoom to the text at the top of this web page that says click here for iOS 6 support. So navigate on the timeline to where you want the Smart Focus zoom to begin by placing the playhead at the desired location. Then select the Animations tab and drag down Smart Focus at Time. Drag it right onto your recorded screencast track like this. Click on the left side of the Smart Focus arrow to determine at what size you will begin your zoom. The Properties box will pop up to the right, and you can manipulate the size you begin in the area labeled Scale by moving the slider. So let's start at around 100%. We can't get exactly perfect there, but we'll go for, that's pretty good. Okay, 100.10%. Okay, so that means at that point the screen will be showing at that size. Now stretch the length of the arrow the distance you desire. So I'm going to stretch it here and click on the right side of the arrow to determine what size you wish to have it zoomed to. So again, we manipulate the size you want it to be by the end of the animation by moving the slider in the scale area. So instead of 88, let's move it, I like about 154 there. And then I'm going to pan a bit by dragging here, so we can really see that part of the page. Let's test that out. So we're going along here, we're at 100%, and then we come upon this zoom. Perfect. Once you've got the Smart Focus zoom set, you can put the playhead at the end of the Smart Focus arrow and click on the Annotations tab. So I'm going to put the playhead right here. And then I'm going to click on the Annotations tab. When you click on the Annotations tab, you'll notice that several annotation options appear. Click on the highlight icon, which looks kind of like a blue teardrop. Once you do this, you'll see several highlight options with different colors. Select the highlight color that is closest to what you might want. You can change the highlight color later in Properties. And drag it down into an open track above your other tracks. I might pick the pink one I'm going to drag it right down here. There we go. Note that annotations must be placed on the top track of your recording or they will be covered up. Once I drag the highlight annotation down into the track, you can see where it is positioned on the screen. Drag and position it to the location that you wish for it to highlight. So this is needing to go up here to cover. Click here for iOS 6 support, and then I'm going to make it a bit smaller just to work right around that text. Always by dragging the bottom right corner to resize. Now I could either drag it for the length of the text, in this case click here for iOS 6 support, and possibly add a fade in or out from the Transitions tab to make this effect. So let's do that. Go into Transitions, pull the fade in, fade out right in the middle, and you can see we could have it fade in and fade out. That's one option. Or I could use an animation to make it look as though I'm highlighting it with a highlighter live. So let's try that. We'll remove the fade in, fade out effects we just added. Click on the annotation again to select it, and then click on the Animations tab. Drag the custom animation on top of the highlighted annotation. Click on the left side of the custom animation arrow and drag the box for the highlight to be small, as if that is the size you want the highlight text to begin at. So we'll begin about like that. Then click on the right side of that custom animation arrow and drag the box for the highlight to cover the entire amount of text you wish to draw attention to. So it's all the way out here. It starts here and it ends here. Now when we play this section, we can see the highlighter begins at the designated beginning and continues in animation to look like we're drawing the highlight live. Let's watch. Note you can change the speed at which the highlight is performed by changing the length of the custom arrow. Just drag its right endpoint further out to make the speed slower. Let's take a look. Or we can drag the endpoint of the arrow to the left to make the highlighting happen at a faster rate of speed. So if we drag it, let's make it really fast like that. Watch. If you wish to change the opacity of the highlighter's intensity of color, click on the highlight box like this. And over in the Properties area, adjust the level of opacity with the slider. So a little less and it won't be quite so bright pink. About 41% there, that looks good. If you make a mistake, hit the undo button next to the opacity slider and it will return to the original color. Changing it again, looks a little bit lighter. Well, there was my mistake. I forgot to change the opacity at the very beginning where my playhead was. Let's try it again. Or could take it back to a very strong fuchsia. If you wish to change the color of the highlight altogether from what you chose to begin with, click on the highlight box in the track, like this, and then over in the Properties area, click on a different color choice. Let's see it. I think I'll change it to yellow instead, and adjust the opacity of that yellow just a little bit. So right in front of it, click it as yellow. I got to see the beginning of it there. Okay, click it as yellow, And its opacity was like that. And I'm going to change it to be a little lighter. Let's watch. Yeah, that works for me. Give these little tricks a try. It will make your screencast seem much more professional and help guide the viewer's eye to what you want them to see.